everyone, this is Zaira F. Miraflor, and in this video, you'll be expecting for another math topics with me. Our lesson for today is where we're gonna explain on how to solve the quadratic equations by three methods, such as factoring, completed squared, and the quadratic formula. So without further ado, come and let's now go begin the discussion. So our equation is 2x squared minus 8x equals to 10. So let's solve it first by factoring. Here, with this kind of equation, we're gonna determine first its common monomial factor, which is 2. So 2 times the other factor that we need to divide, well, 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared, and negative 8x divided by 2 is negative 4x equals to 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now, we will gonna transpose 5 here so we can get a trinomial. Here we see x squared minus 4x, positive 5 will be negative 5 since we transpose it, and equals to 0. So now, let's find again its factor. So let's think about the pair of factors of negative 5 that if we add, we'll get the sum of negative 4. So it is positive 1 and negative 5. Why? Because positive 1 times negative 5 is negative 5, and positive 1 minus 5 is, if we add, we'll get negative 4. So our factor now of our equation is x plus 1 times x minus 5 equals to 0. Now we can get the value for x. Let's equate it to 0 by the use of multiplication property of 0. So this will become x plus 1 equals to 0, and in the other is x minus 5 equals to 0. Next, our x sub 1, positive 1, let's transpose here, will become negative 1, and also in the other, in x sub 2, negative 5 will become positive 5. And as we see that this is now our final answer, or the root of our quadratic equation, using factoring method. Next is the method of completing the square. Since this equation has still a factor, we're going to factor this by finding its common monomial factor, the same as we do last time in factoring. So our common monomial factor is 2 times our factor 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared, and negative 8x divided by 2 is negative 4x equals to 10 divided by 2 is 5. Next, we're now going to make this a perfect square trinomial. So, x squared minus 4x plus blank equals to 5 plus blank. Now, how can we make this a perfect square trinomial and fill these blanks? It is by dividing our linear term, which is negative 4x, into. So, negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Then after that, we're gonna square this. And that will become 4, because negative 2 times negative 2 will become 4. And there, we put the 4 here and also to the other side. Now, let's convert this equation into a square of a binomial. So here, here's the square of x squared, which will become x, the capital sign, which is negative, and also the square root of 4, which is 2. There, and add some square here. And now let's continue this. Equals to 5 plus 4, 9. So we see here that it is now converted into a square of a binomial. Now let's remove now their squares and use here the extracting square root method. So let's square root these two. So the square of x minus 2 is x minus 2. Cancel down, equals to square root of 9 is positive negative 3. So again, now let's transpose negative 2 to the right. So, x is equals to negative 2 will become positive 2 since we transpose it, and also copy this positive negative 3. So we have two values for x. So in x sub 1, this will become 2 plus 3, and in our x sub 2, this will become 2 minus 3. In order to get the final answer or the root, we will gonna add them. So, x sub 1 equals to 2 plus 3, 5. And in x sub 2 equals to 2 minus 3, negative 1. So we can see that this is now our final answer. Now, let's proceed to our last method, which is the quadratic formula. And this will be our guide to solve. The formula x equals to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So, to our first step, this we see here that this is just the same that we factor to get its simplest form. And to our next step, we'll just gonna transpose this positive 5 here, and this will become x squared minus 4x, positive 5 will become negative 5, equals to 0. Next step is to identify the value of A, B, and C. So, what's the value of A? It's only 1, since it's just only an x. Value of B, negative 4. And in the value of C, negative 5. Thereafter that, we will gonna substitute these values into our formula. So let's start. X is equals to negative, our B, negative 4, plus or minus, square root of B, negative 4 again, square. So minus 4, our A, 1, and our C, negative 5. All over 2 times our A, 1. Next, let's multiply now. Combine. X is equals to negative times negative 4, positive 4. Plus or minus square of negative 4 is negative 4 times negative 4, 16. Negative times negative, positive, and 4 times 1 is 4, and times 5, again, 20. That's why it's become square root of 16 plus 20, and all over 2 times 1, 2. X is equals to 4 plus or minus square root of 16 plus 20, 36. All over 2. X is equals to 4 plus or minus square root of 36. Since it is a perfect square number, it is 6 over all over 2. Now we have two values for x. The x sub 1 equals to 4 plus 6 over 2, and the x sub 2 equals to 4 minus 6 all over 2. So it equals 4 plus 6, 10, 2. X sub 1 equals to, that is 5. In x sub 2, 4 minus 6, negative 2 over 2. And in our x sub 2, that is negative 1. So we can say that it is our value for our x. So that's it. Those are the three methods that you can use in solving quadratic equations. Thank you and hope